What's up, everybody? Today I have that other tank. It's the 20-gallon Marina. Um, so basically, what I'm gonna do is I've always wanted to try it, but I haven't done anything yet. But I got a sponge filter, flourish glue, shrimp tube, some more fluoride, some PVC, and that's those shunting Matten filters. Basically, they come vacuum packed and you expand them. But I'm going to, I'm basically going to do a Matten filter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the Matten filter right here, fill this side up with the fluoride, and I'm going to use a sponge filter attached to PVC to do the air stone. And basically, the goal is to shoot the water over the filter. So yeah, and so I'm basically going to do just fluorite and a shrimp tube, and it's a pretty basic setup. It's basically just the tank, a sponge filter to attach to the intake tube. I'm gonna run an air hose. The thing is there's a nipple on there, so I'm gonna run the airline hose through the exit, and it'll attach right there. And so yeah. Okay. So what I've done is I've cut down the filter to the size of the tank, and I've plugged that in, and I've labeled those, or I've kind of glued them right where they should be. I just wanted some support for the sponge. It's gonna have to hold itself up. What's up again, everyone? So I went ahead and didn't show myself pouring in the gravel and the tube, but here it is 3 weeks later. When you saw it, I would say all I did was had the tube ready, the place where I would put the filter, and I hadn't put any of the decorations in. I was going to not do wood and everything, but I basically had another tank, and I didn't want to throw this away. And that tank was really old, so I put all its stuff on there. I only had one problem. When you do anything and divide stuff in your tank or have a sump of any kind, you need to have surface agitation over here, because all the motion's going to be over here. And since I'm using an intake tube on my sponge filter, none of the air is bubbling over on this side. So that film in goldfish tanks and beta tanks started to form. When I took apart that tank, I had the AquaClear 20, so I put that over there as a temporary thing. I may leave that over there, or I may just run an airline hose, so that way it's only airline. But anything on here that's extra that I originally didn't plan is because I'm using this as storage, unless I decide to roll with another one of these. But yeah, this is basically what I intended. Just subtract all the amenities, and it's like I said. You just got the intake hose, and you use the little plastic piece right there. Comes with all sponge filters, so you just glue it with Seachem glue or any glue. It'll glue. And since I'm not using the sponge filter so thick, and I'm not running my hose through it, it's I don't mind running a thinner sponge. I have some other sponge like this, but it's like 2 inches, so I have bigger blocks, but I kind of like how this turned out. And it's it's the same parameters as it is over here, so it's all I gotta do now is just cover up that intake tube, so if they crawl over, they don't die. They probably won't. I mean, the tank cycled and did everything by itself. It's just that AquaClear I'm only using it for surface agitation. I don't need it. So the tank was a success, and it's you don't need the high flow. You can just, that's enough flow. And if you keep it that low, or even virtually dribbling out, in 30 minutes, it'll clear a tank where if you squeeze a sponge in here, it'll get cloudy, and that's what I do to seed my tanks.
and I have enough gallons per an hour that within like 20 minutes the tank's clear like this again. So it's like I just did that as like a test. Like you use food coloring to see if there's a leak in a tank or something, and it's like it worked. You know, I just wanted to do the whole clay thing with the gray that shrimp tube and the like a gravel, and that's it. You know. But it's like, hey, you know, I'm not using any fertilizer in here, so these plants are gonna have to thrive on their own. I have a huge aquarium store in my town. They basically put aquariums for dentists, and they run salt water on a lot of them. So it's like if you go to the front of their store, they have a bin of like hundreds of these lights, and they sell them for like 30 bucks, and they're used. So this was probably like a $200 light, but you know, it'll work. So, but yeah, we're 3 weeks into this, and it cycled in like 5 days. But it's like normally it doesn't cycle so fast because would have been all new material. But the sticks on the right and the left, and that white bag, has been in a fish tank for 2 years that I took down, and it's just like after you saw the cycling happen, I put that in there, and that just sped up the process. So, to be honest, if you really look at how pristine the water looks right now and how it's not like weird or anything, it's honestly ready. And then I got a bunch of moss balls, but it's like anytime I throw them away, I start like some low budget setup, more low budget than this, and like this plant, and I need something like those, and it's like so that's just gonna be like my moss ball trash can until I do something with it. But the general idea was just gravel, set it up like it's on a rack, run like one shrimp tube, and any form of a back area for the Matten filter. Normally, when you do a Matten filter, you don't run it that much space. You, I wanted to try an idea where you, because like I did a trash can and I used only that type of filter, but I didn't have anything over it, and it just within like 4 months blew up with like 80 shrimp. So I was like, well, I want to Matten filter it, but I don't want to have something not holding the pipe, and I don't want to drill into the sponge. I want the sponge to really cover the separate areas. So I was like, well, if you use it like this, you get the best of both worlds, and it worked out. Most people, they drill at the base, but I didn't want to do that. I just ran the hose all the way down, and there's a nipple on all these sponge filters, and that actually you just push it over. So it's like it was really other than gluing the intake tube, pretty much snapped together.
Alright, guys, so I decided to wait like 2 weeks later. So we're at a total of like 5 or 6 weeks cycling. It started changing a little bit after that last video. Um, but I didn't show me, but I put some shrimp in here like 3 or 4 days ago. The total cycle time is about 6 weeks, I would say. Maybe, uh, yeah, about 6 weeks. Um, if you look, the algae's green. Um, I've already scraped it and done a water change before I added shrimp. And sorry about my voice; it's a little messed up. I guess I got sick or got a cold. But if you look, you can see a little baby. He's a little tiny guy, like right there. Um, there's two adults in there, um, like six of those little shrimp. The rest are clears. I only put 12 in there. It's a little dirtier, but that's okay. The algae's slowly starting to go away. Anywhere you see the algae, it was white when the bacteria is like anaerobic, and now it's got that tinge. The glass is still pretty clear. My main worry was the this everything back here, but it's still pretty basic. No substrate. That sponge got dirty, and those are pretty dirty back there. But I put a intake sponge over the filter. Everything's been running for so long now. It's kind of broken a little bit. I probably would say, had I put some shrimp in there when I did the showed what I showed before, they probably would have died, because it's like, for some reason this tank just took so long to cycle, and I have an aqua clear right there. But if I ever do a shrimp rack, I might actually do it like this, because it worked out too well. I got the flow is a little higher than it was, because the sponge is broke in now, and it's just, I've had to turn the air down at every couple of days as the sponge gets used to the tank. So yeah, this is it right here. This was the idea I was going for. If it was on a rack or when I'm sleeping, this is generally what I see. I haven't done it yet, but I might just go get a few pregnant females and throw them in here. This tank is way more complicated than my previous RCS tank. My previous RCS tank, I just used a big sponge filter like the one in the back, and no substrate, just a shrimp tube, and they bred like crazy, and it didn't take long. So if I get enough of them, I should be able to put them back there and let them start eating and cleaning everything. So yeah, it's pretty successful. I've had the shrimp in there, I'd say, for maybe three-ish days. This light's pretty powerful, but I run it 8 hours, and it's at right around 7 o'clock p.m. it turns off. So it might take, I'd say, another, I'm not too sure, it could take 60 days for shrimplets to make it to juvenile. So their odds that they're going to be any bigger than that guy in the very back anytime soon is more than another month. So, but yeah, it's cycled now for sure. My nitrates are not even a 1 ppm, even with all that algae in there. I got it at a 10 GH, a 3 KH. My TDS, when I first salty shrimped and ran Nilo Aquatics for my KH, I don't use the GH KH salty shrimp. I just use the GH because liquid KH buffer is different, in my opinion. But if you look, the algae that's green on this, it was like a clear white, and that's what bacteria and funguses do. It's not like really a fungus, it's more like an anaerobic bacteria and algae. There's a guy on my Mobius mat. The Mobius mat is actually doing really well. It's loving the light. So and the filter in that aqua clear is brand new. I changed it, so that way it's not like it was old, but I cycled the tank already. So yeah, here's everything. I'll give an update of the tank as it goes. You can only really see 4 shrimp in there, so thanks YouTube, and take it easy, guys.